Runs kindly for Morrison. It's Cal Morrison! Just listen to this, please! Spencer takes over. It's Brad Spencer! It's in the back of the net! There's Donaldson driving forward. Cole Donaldson! That is simply ridiculous! There's Tom Lang! Oh my word! Unbelievable! Phenomenal! Incredible! Invincible!
This is Falkirk Daft.
With Behind the Wall and the Falkirk football fans in training.
Fortunate Falkirk. That's the words of my Dunfermline supporting colleague Stephen Mill, who was on the podcast last week. But the fortune continues as it's minus 20 in Dunfermline right now, as Falkirk still remain top of the league. 2 wins against that lot for the first time, I think, since 2017. There you go. Hello, I am John McAnally. Welcome to Falkirk Daft, and as ever, I am joined. You will see him on your screen. You will hear him in your ears in a minute if you've not seen him on your screen already. The Ginger God of Pod himself, the one-man band in the main stand. It is Ross Wayne.
Good evening, sir. How are you doing today? You tired? I'm tired.
I'm tired. It's been a hell of a weekend, Ross. I'll be honest with you. I'm just back from Perth, where unfortunately the Falkirk under-15s suffered their first defeat of the season to Perthshire Rugby Club by 2 points. Now, I'm, not one of these parents that likes to make gripes, Ross, and make excuses. Luckily,
right.
Unfortunately, my son only got on for the last 2 seconds of the game, so I was annoyed at that. But, there was ringers in the Perthshire lot, right? So, Perthshire, right, I know a lot of people don't tune in this to listen to the egg chasing, but I'm just going to, as a parent, I'm quite pissed off because
right.
There's a whole thing going on with private schools that the private schools don't let their players play for a club team. Now, Perthshire last week had loads of private school boys and they were brilliant, right? And Falkirk are in a league with a bunch, and they're top of the league, which is brilliant, until today. But because the private schools are off for 2 weeks up in Perthshire, they were able to bring it back in 7 ringers into the play. So the Perthshire have been hammered in every other game they've played against the likes of the other teams that are in the league, right? Because they've not had the private school boys. But then Falkirk get beat today because they had 7 private schoolboys, who are all very good players as well, brought in. So I'm a bit pissed off at that. I don't think that's very.
That shouldn't be allowed. That shouldn't be allowed.
It's a farce. Listen, if this was in a football terms, it's like, suddenly just bringing a whole bunch of Ronaldo, Messi, all these players into your team just for 1 game. So shocking state of affairs. But the boys have still got 1 game against Dundee left, and hopefully they can beat Dundee and win the league, but that's a good. Anyway, we're not here to talk about rugby. We're not here to talk about the egg chasing. We're here to talk about Falkirk, and let's talk about Falkirk Daft Live. Thank you, each and every one of you who came along on Friday night to Behind the Wall. What a night, Ross!
It was fantastic. It really was. Just from start to finish, just an absolute brilliant night. Big call. It was obviously our.
For anyone that didn't make it along, let's just explain what happened. So on this show, we had teased a surprise guest. Now, that surprise guest was meant to be Mr. Ross McKeever, but as we saw yesterday, he ended up on the bench. So we got a phone call from the club saying, listen, it's looking good for Big Ross. Go, bad news for you boys, but obviously great news for the club. So Big Ross wasn't able to make it along on Friday night as our surprise guest. Then I'd said, well, Saki, maybe Mr. Morrison, Big Call, would he be able to come on? And it was brilliant. Call said, aye, up for it. Know the lads, came along to the night. Now, it was meant to be a surprise guest. However, the first thing you said on stage, Ross, was...
I was just chatting to Cole.
Jesus.
Honestly, I had 2 or 3 people afterwards saying, that was funny. Was it did you mean that? And I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely.
I pulled your trousers down right on stage for the rest of the night about that. It was, but no, it was a brilliant night. Cole was there. We had our quiz, which I'm glad to say the Falkirk Daft team beat the Falkirk TV boys, Sean Elderbrandt and Josh Heggie, who were on stage with us as well. Brilliant. We looked back across the season with them, got Colin for a bit of a Q&A, a bit of chat about the season so far as well. And then in the second half, big sexy himself, Mr. Lee Miller was on stage.
He was brilliant as well, wasn't he? He was fantastic.
Really,
wow,
really good.
What a laugh, and some brilliant stories, and he was happy to kind of go along with our banter as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, at one point we did. The question, me and Ross prepared for this, we had a script, we had questions written down, and I'd written the question, like, is it fair to say you didn't see eye to eye with Paul Hartley? Ross rephrased that slightly and says, how much of a cunt was Paul Hartley? So that was he didn't really go into a big detail, but it's just fair to say that he didn't have the greatest relationship, which I think was quite obvious to everyone kind of looking from the outside in with Mr. Hartley, which I don't think the supporters had.
It's not going to be a shock.
Exactly. But I have to say, the crown moment of the night, there was a couple of standout highlights for me, Ross. We did the visit to the Big Blue Chair for adults' chance to win a captain's armband, and there was a guy, I think his name's Cammy. He was in there with Phil Wilder and Scott Cunningham and the boys, and they were kind of urging him to get on stage. I was like, right, come on up, you've got a story to tell. And this boy revealed that when he was pissed on a holiday, he got a tattoo of Paul Hartley on him, and everyone's like, show it. He had just been to get it removed that very day of Falkirk Daft Live, so all the padding was still on it. It was like red raw. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It was like,
the outline was still there, though. The outline was still there, which was class.
I know.
Yeah.
It was like, he's definitely winning the captain's armband. He deserves it, that man. So well done, Cammy. And I think the crowning, my favourite moment of the night was, obviously, we had promised a duet, or Don't Go Breaking My Heart. Kiki D is in behind the wall tonight, actually.
Yes.
And it happened. But what I loved is the whole crowd at the end of the night singing Don't Go Breaking My Heart.
I am so pleased they did as well. I am so pleased they did, because I'm obviously loads of people doing videos, and I watched it back and I thought, oh my Christ, is that what you guys hear when I'm singing Falkirk songs at the stadium? I
know, it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. What are the highlights for you, Ross?
That was a fantastic moment. Do you know, just again, like it's like at a Falkirk event, the camaraderie just was, the atmosphere was fantastic. As you said, the quiz and Big Grant for still game we had on as well, wasn't he? He was brilliant. But yeah, just the full night, John. Honestly, I've just felt such a buzz from it. And I could barely get to sleep eventually when I got home on Friday night.
I know, I had to sit up and, I had to sit up and have a cup of tea, and I actually watched the Open Goal. So Open Goal did a bit with Falkirk, so Kevin Kyle was round it, I think.
Oh yes, I had the darts.
With the darts. So I watched that when I get in, and sat and had a cup of tea, just because, and so I didn't get to sleep till 2 because I was just buzzing after it. It was great. And the great thing is, we made £2,000 odd for Maggie's. Ross, you've got the final total there, didn't you? It was over £2,000.
Yes, it was £2,450 was the total.
Amazing. We've got to say thanks to all the people that donated those auction prizes, and all the people that bid for them as well. Yeah. We had an amazing poppy shirts. We had Blair Alston's, we had Lee Miller's, which got actually Callum got bought Lee Miller's and got a picture with him, so it was great.
Was class as well, wasn't it?
We had Keeler Davis Keeler Dunn, I'll always mix that up. He had his top, which he scored against Dunfermline. I didn't realise until this day there was a song about Davis Keeler Dunn scoring against the Fifers. Brilliant. Love that song. Everyone was singing that. All the Wild's Invincible shirt. And we had an amazing prize which went for a load. Thank you so much. We're going to speak about them in a minute. The Falkirk District Tartan Army. Neil there gave us a brilliant signed Scott McTominay framed top sort of print, which looked amazing, along with 2 tickets to the Croatia game, and obviously bus travel through with the Falkirk District Tartan Army, and that went for I think it was over £500.
That one's £525 that went for.
I think it was a Richard. It was a guy called Rich. But I can't remember.
Richard won that one. He's a big Falkirk, big Scotland fan as well, and listen, fantastic amount of money total. But as you said, like, at each I think the least something went for was like £300, which is just phenomenal. And then
that done, thanks to the club as well. They gave and Chris McGill specifically, big time. Chris McGill was there. It was his birthday, and he gave us an Invincibles top as well. Which Richard Lindsay, I spoke to him on Saturday in the pub, and he was like, "I can't believe I spent that amount," but It had to be done. It had to be
But
done.
listen, there's not going to be, if you think about it, I don't know how many more Invincible shirts there will actually be, because the players will eventually all start to potentially disappear. And and it was all the current Invincibles that signed it as well. And I think that went for about £450, which was just phenomenal. So,
but I mean, I said to Maggie's when I was up there collecting, because they'd given us the Ola Wild Top courtesy of the Equity Bairns, and I'd said, listen, we're hoping to get £1,000. I can't wait to message them on Monday and say, listen, we've got you £2,450. I hope we get to get one of those novelty checks, Ross. You know the big novelty checks?
That would be amazing.
I love a picture of us handing over a novelty check. I've always wanted to do that, so we'll see.
Shall we ask them if we can? That would be.
Can we have a novelty check to get our pictures in the Falkirk Herald? What a dream! What a thing! What a dream!
Our mums will be happy.
Exactly, it's the kind of thing your mums, buy a copy. I've seen you in the Falkirk Herald, son. I've cut it out. So, a brilliant night had by all right, and Falkirk Daft Live 3 is going to be happening, we think, pre-Dunfermline March, but it'll depend if the game gets moved or not, because I think there's a possibility that game might get moved to a Friday night, but we will see. But Falkirk Daft Live will definitely happen in the new year, and we'll give you details as and when that happens, because hopefully everyone that came along, certainly speaking to people afterwards, everyone had a right good laugh and a good time there. So plans will be afoot for Falkirk Daft Live 3, so we'll let you know when that happens. So talking about the Falkirk District Tartan Army, who donated that amazing McTominay print, thanks to Neil. They are actually our episode sponsor this week, Ross, and they're accepting new members now. The form is on the website, which you can check out in the bio below. You can fill that out. They're running buses from Falkirk to Hampden, so if you're a big Scotland supporter as well as being a big Falkirk supporter, get on them. They've been going since September 2016, and there's about 90 members in there already. You go to a lot of Scotland games. Have you used the bus before?
No, I've travelled with them as well. It's fantastic, John. It's what a brilliant setup. So they usually run 3 buses. They're now extending that to a 4th one. So that's been able to open up to new members, and the buses depart straight from the Graham Hotel, returning from Hampden straight after as well. So it's absolutely perfect. And they also do something very good. So if you prefer to have like a few beers or something in Glasgow first, and then get the bus back, you can do that as well. You can book just one way. You can book just one way.
That's really good, because getting out to Hampden, getting back into his
Bollock, massively.
Bollock, so it's a great way to go. Plus, you get to have a few pints in Elliott's before it, so it's all good. So get involved with them. The links are below. If you're a big Scotland supporter and want to just make a bunch of new mates going to Scotland games, and I suspect a lot of them will be Falkirk supporters as well, Ross. So get signed up. Falkirk District Tartan Army are taking your membership now, and the links are below. And then I'm also a member of the Association of Tartan Army Clubs, ATAC. That's how Neil got the Scott McTominay print, because he was the voted player of the season. And Scott McTominay actually had that print as well, and he got a copy of it and framed it up in his house, so it was amazing. So you'll get loads of information, plus the membership. That is in the link below, but sign up now, falkirkdistricttartanarmy.com. Falkirk District tartanarmy.com, and you'll get all the details there to sign up for the Falkirk District Tartan Army. We thank you for them being the episode sponsor this week, and also thank you to the T8s, of course. We saw Ian, Dougie and the boys having a good few drinks. I don't know if they sampled the Venoms. Now, a word on the Venoms, they sold out. They sold over 100 Falkirk Daft Venoms in the pub on Friday night. Me and Ross were like, we'll have one, because we thought we can't have one pre-show.
Can't have it beforehand, no. Can't
have it pre-show. So we thought we'll have it post-show, and we went up to the bar. Said, 2 Venoms. I'm like, no chance, mate. I think they'd sold out by half-time. Yeah. Very good success. They're still on the menu. I think it's one of these off-menu things at Behind the Wall. So when you go into Behind the Wall next, ask for a Falkirk Daft Venom. They're on for a limited time, but it's off-menu. It's our secret code. So get into Behind the Wall, try it. It's the amount of people that come up and going, oh my god, that's just to the point that someone went in with their dad. Who was I bumped into the pub on Saturday at Elliott's? I bumped into someone and they said, oh my god, my dad is now obsessed with Venoms. He said before the Dunfermline, we got up to Behind the Wall for one of those Venoms, son.
That's class. That's
amazing. Amazing. So get in, it's all I can say, it's off menu, get involved. Falkirk Daft Venoms and Falkirk Daft Pizzas, which is also off menu. I had one on Friday night. It's a buffalo chicken pizza. But sorry, getting back to the point, I'm sure Dougie and the boys and Ian all had one of them Venoms. And we thank them for being our sponsor on Falkirk Daft. Get involved with the boys every Monday at the stadium, 8 to 9, Tuesday 7:30 to 8:30. They've also got the Super Vets football with the Falkirk Foundation walking football squad. That happens on a Friday down at the stadium. Over 50s for that, 8 aside, but playing the old school rules. And that's Friday between 5 and 6 for the Super Vets football. It's getting better. Down at the stadium every Friday between 5 and 6, and join in the normal games Monday 8 to 9, Tuesday 7:30 to 8:30. I'm actually looking for a game. Do you think I could go and... I don't think I'm old enough to go and play with the T8s, am I? 40.
No, I think it's for the Super Vets one. No, that was over 50s.
Over 50s, but I think Tuesday... I forget I work on a Tuesday, so I told you 8 o'clock at night, so I can't even make that. But definitely, get in touch with the boys, Ian, Willie, or Dougie. The links is below in the bio to get involved with the T8s. Big week for Falkirk. Let's get into the news now, Ross. It was the AGM last Thursday.
Yes, no. So I didn't manage to make it along myself, to be honest. I had quite a busy week towards our event on Friday night, so I wasn't able to get along. However, I did follow the updates on social media from the folk that were there, and the Herald were actually doing updates too. But obviously, which is quite convenient, the club then put out an update as well on the Friday. I think it was Friday or Saturday. They put a full update of summary. But some really, really big news stories coming out of there. Very similar to what we had with Jamie Swinnick when he came on the podcast a couple of months back. Just that on and off the park, what a year it's been. Obviously, we know all about the successes on the park. Off it, though, he talked about the best ever sort of commercial year that they've had, the highest retail they've ever had, 6,000 strips, massive investment. Obviously, the FSS becoming the club's single largest shareholder, just 2 years after launch as well. Obviously it allowed them to do some of the upgrades at the stadium, so like the new pitch, the floodlights, which we saw the disco lights on at full time again yesterday, which was good to see. And obviously it's allowed them to have set them up for a break-even year this year and a very, very competitive football budget too.
Yeah, I was surprised actually at the loss. I thought it would be a little less than that. I mean, we obviously didn't have the greatest Scottish Cup run, which, you know, obviously helped the year before, but to lose £340,000, I thought actually it would have been a bit better, but I think the budget was maybe more than expected.
They hoped for a 400,000 loss, so actually before depreciation it was better than expected. So not a too bad of a figure there. Obviously they've nothing concrete just now, but with the Celtic game, I think Jamie Swinney's words on Twitter the other day there was there's not going to be any sleepless nights this year with the Celtic money, because I think even up to the Hearts game that allowed them to sort of confirm break even, and then the Celtic cash has then allowed us to be pretty comfortable.
I'm also guessing they haven't budgeted for the level of crowds that we've been getting. I wouldn't suspect that would have been budgeted for.
No, I think, did I read somewhere, and it could have been in the update, or it could have been Jamie again on X, but I think he said something like 23% they had budgeted on match day income increasing. Now, assuming that we're currently higher than 23% on a match-by-match basis, which I would guess we would be, then that's going to be even better if, as you just said.
Yeah, I know. I would think so. And we've still got the Scottish Cup to go. Obviously, we're recording this. We're recording this 5:30 on a Sunday, so the draw's getting made in a couple of hours' time to find out who we're getting. Hopefully, again, if we get a decent little run, maybe up to quarterfinals or something like that, you know,
it's all a bonus.
And you maybe get it's all bonus money, which can help us along the way. And remember, we have budgeted for 5th this season as well. So anything.
And where are we just now, John?
we are top of the league, Ross. It's great, isn't it?
Sure.
So yeah, and of course, what the club also needs is you to get involved in the Falkirk Supporters Society. That's been made well clear. I think also, and I've harped on about this, is this extra investment to prop up that third leg, because it's a wee bit shaky at the moment with that third leg, I feel. I just think there needs to be a wee bit more investment from that side of things. And also, as we say, if you're not a member of the Falkirk Supporters Society, the club needs that leg secured as well. We've obviously got the percentage of the shareholding, so we can, like I said last week, stops any shysters coming in. Brilliant. But Falkirk Sports Society, if you aren't involved with it, get involved with it, because it needs the, there is, obviously they're starting to do the draw again, which is great, so you can get involved to win prizes as well. But I mean, I guess it is all about supporting the club, being a member, having your voice heard by obviously the new representatives on the board as well. So yeah, get involved with the Falkirk Sports Society. We always say that on the podcast.
We do, yeah. And if people just need any indication as to how good it is, look what we've achieved so far with the numbers that are involved. And I don't just mean the FSS in terms of, I think they're over 1,000 members now, but like every single fan is doing so much this season, whether it's on the park, helping, or off the park. What a difference it's making. And another 100, another 200 people, what again, like that could be an extra player or two in January too.
Yeah, I suspect as well there'll be I suspect either a third top or a retro top will be available before Christmas. That is my prediction, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. Because I bought the away top because I love the away top this season, but I'm not too keen on the home top. I don't know why. It just looks.
I like it. No, I like
it. I said at the start it looks too much like a Wraith Rovers top for me.
Thankfully they're not playing like Wraith Rovers.
Thankfully they aren't playing like Wraith Rovers. But I don't know why. I'm just not feeling the home top this season. So I'm looking forward.
I think, see, when you look at the strip as a whole, though, like I know I'm old school. I like the white shorts. I like the red socks. I've been really vocal in that.
Yeah, oh my God, you're the worst for like talking about sock colour. I'm just
it's important. The aesthetics is important.
It's sock colour.
See, when we're made to wear like navy socks with the home strip, I just don't think it looks that great.
Alright, Doc Wan.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe it affects performance, but it doesn't, because
no, it doesn't. It certainly doesn't.
Brilliant football with the one as well.
Exactly, but get, like you say, get involved with the Falkirk Supporters Society. And I was really disappointed to read that the party night that they had scheduled for the Camelon Social Club next Friday. I think it was the Friday the 8th. That's been cancelled, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a shame. I think they mentioned it was down to sort of low numbers that had bought tickets so far, which is a shame, because every single pound that's made at these events, it goes straight into John McGlynn. It's not going anywhere else. It's going straight into John McGlynn. I wonder if there's some, like, I know it's May they've rescheduled it for. I wonder if there's something we can, like, can we tie in with them? Is there something
I could DJ? I can. Well, I could do
a DJ, but we could do something.
I can DJ. Like, I could, if they wanted, I could go along and DJ. I don't know if you'd want to inflict that upon, having been a club DJ for several years. Get the old mic. The buffet is now open. The buffet is now open. I actually saw a boy once, right? Like, he was a DJ, but he just said the buffet is now open, and then he darted to the front of the buffet line. I was like, that's poor. Do you go for a buffet? Do you know what? Something I never do is go for the buffet. I can't be arsed, because it's always a massive line, and you're always stuck at the end, and you always get stuck with like a samosa. I'm never a big fan of the buffet at a party. But
you're right though. I think it's a shame that it's been cancelled, and I think if I know the FSS guys link in with a lot of stuff, but if there's something that we can help at all, even I don't mean just promoting it, but like if there's something we can do in conjunction, you never know.
Oh, I'm sure that would be a big ticket seller. Ross and John will be there. Brilliant.
Talking shite.
Talking shite. There they go. 100 Club for Mr. Oliver and Mr. Yeats yesterday. Gary Oliver and Finn Yeats hitting the 100 mark for the Bairns. Now, I think we've got to highlight it. So Alex Totten was doing obviously a presentation on the pitch to the guys yesterday and handing over a kind of framed 100 top. In modern day football, it's got to be celebrated. A player that plays for 100 times for a club. I think that's just got five now in the 100 Club in the team.
Yeah, this was a quiz question we had.
Callum, Aiden, Finn,
Callum, yep.
Leon.
Leon's there. Hendo is not far away.
Hendo can't
Hendo's
be
not
far away from it. Can't be far
Um,
away from it.
Donald Cole might be not far away too.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, there's a few there. But you're right. This is the new version of like the testimonial, because remember you used to see testimonials all the time.
Yeah.
You will never see in my opinion, I don't think you're going to see a player testimonial. You might get a club staff member or something that gets a testimonial, or a manager or something.
Callum Morrison's done 7 years. Is that Callum Morrison 7 years now?
No, he was nine. Let me think. He was only 2020. That's
he was only 2020.
Yeah. He was only 2020. So that's 4 years.
Aye.
For Callum.
So who knows? You never. But he's got another 2 years on his deal, so you never know. Callum,
That's true.
Callum potentially could be one that could get a testimonial online. Who knows? But yeah, you're right. Absolutely right. It's great to see players, and we've talked about the commitment of this squad, the team that they have, that bond between the team. You saw it if you watched the open goal video. You saw it on that as well. And if you speak to, like, we spoke to Cole, about it on Friday. It's just a great bunch of lads, and if you can keep that team together, there's going to be a lot more of that team. They're going to be on over 100 appearances for the club. I
would say so as well. There's such a camaraderie there.
Yeah.
Like Cole talked about on Friday, the guys are absolutely buzzing every single day, and they just want to do their very, very best for each other. And because of that, the club and the fans are seeing the benefit as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Quick word on match sponsorships. Let's help the commercial department, since they're 2 men down at the moment. Remember, I think they've advertised the spot. I think that's closed now, but we'll be getting 2 new members of the commercial department. But the sponsorship packages, it's Ross's favourite subject, talking about sponsorship and hospitality. There's a few left. I think there's a 3 match ball sponsors, 3 captain sponsors, which of course you get a fantastic framed Falkirk Daft captain's armband at the end.
Exactly.
You've got a safe pair of hand sponsors.
You need to get a tattoo to get it.
Yeah, exactly. It's in a frame and everything. And there's part of the match. There's 9 of those available. So get involved. Speak to Paddy at the club if you want to get involved in any of that sort of stuff. And Ladies' Day is back as well. I think we tried to sneak in as a lady the last time just so we could perv at Tom Lang, but that's happened the 1st of February versus Livingston. I mean, maybe they could get you as a stripper, Ross, this time.
I don't think they want to see that.
I don't know I think everyone wants a bit of the ginger god of pod. Maybe they should get Leon McCann as a stripper.
Well,
that's what's revealed at Falkirk Daft Live.
That's very true, because just to explain to everyone, so we were doing a QA with Cole, weren't we? And someone had shouted out. I was going around to people with a microphone, but somebody had shouted out, "Who's the longest in the showers, Cole?" And so I repeated this to Cole, but I did say to him, more importantly, who's the smallest in the squad? And he didn't want to say. However, what he did say was that Mr. McCann is packing a large lunchbox, isn't he?
I think it was you said he's a dark horse, and horse being the operative word, I think, in Leon's, which obviously started the chant of Leon McCann's got a massive cock. I was very disappointed I didn't hear it in the against Dunfermline on Saturday.
That was class, because you just had 200 people all singing the same song. And I think Cole, who's never heard the song before, because obviously he was never at the club at the time anyway, and he's just looking going, this is class.
So ultras, if you are listening, Kieran, Beardy, who were all down at the night, get it sang. Get the boys learning the words to Leon McCann's got a massive cock for the next Falkirk game, because against Morton, if he does something spectacular, you got to chant that. Well done, Leon. Yeah, but get Leon on to Ladies' Night on the 1st of February. That's what I'm saying. After the match is going to be Disco, Dave Mack. He's going to be on the decks, busting some tunes, playing some bangers, as the kids say, and there's going to be player appearances as well. And it's £75 per person, so hospo, a big party afterwards, and you're going to raise money for Strathcarn Hospice along the way as well. So get involved, though, Ladies' Day. The details are on the website, the Falkirk website, and you can speak to Paddy about getting... Do you think we can dress up as ladies this time, Ross, and get sneak in as well?
Listen, in this new world that we're in, you never know.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You can identify as a lady. Even if you identify as a lady, I'm sure you can get in.
That's it.
Don't quote me on that. That might not be the case. I don't want a whole bunch of burly mention. I identify as a she, her. Can I get in? Just so they can try and be cheeky. Anyway, so yes, do that. Go along to Ladies' Day at the club. Right, well, let us get into the game, Wally. Let's talk about football now. We've not really even mentioned the fact that we played Dunfermline and beat them really at the weekend. So let's talk about it now. Well, wait, with two men we've met on a couple of occasions at Falkirk Daft live events. It's Fred Bammer and William Lynn.
Hey.
Good evening, boys. He's all right.
Yeah. Aye.
Smiling after yesterday.
Aye, definitely. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. You've got to do it. Right, guys, let's find out a wee bit about your Falkirk background then. You will start with you, William. When did you first start supporting Falkirk? Can you remember your first game?
First physical game was, I think it was August 2016. It was against Dumbarton with my son.
Oh, wow. Yeah, was that a cup game? William,
no, I think it was a league game. We won 1-0.
Yeah.
Dumbarton were in the championship at one point.
Of course they were, yeah. Of course they were, yeah.
How the mighty have fallen. And what about you, Fred?
Well, I was a CFAX supporter before then because I lived in England.
Oh, right. CFAX, there's a blast for the past. What was it? It was 140 on teletext. That was the football pages. I think 302 was the CFAX number for BBC. Is that right? I think I've maybe nailed that, because remember you also got the club lines, the adverts for the club lines that you phoned up and you'd get the news and you'd phone up and find out who Falkirk were potentially signing. That's old school. That's one for the old team there. I remember doing that.
Yeah.
I remember my dad moaning about the phone bill.
Did you? Oh my! Did you get done for that? Did you?
Oh yes. Honestly, I think that was so frustrating. Do you remember the club calls? Because it used to be like, "Welcome to Falkirk," and it was like this 3-second gap in between every word, and it was always like Peter Houston or Crawford Bapty doing this random introduction, and then they would be like, "There is no news." It's probably £6.
I know, oh man, but what a blast for the past that is. So, Fred, what was your first game?
I think it was about 2 years, 2022. Can't mind the month. It was Queen of the South, and it was my first game. And I'm looking at Sean Mackey and thinking, "Fuck, he's a player." It reminded me of Jack Grealish, when he had the headband on and everything.
Oh yeah.
And then I think it was the last goal of the game, and all of the while just went douche, have that, and I was like, what a game!
Oh, I remember that. Was it because he scored for about 7 or 8 yards out, didn't he?
Aye.
I don't think he scored many more after that.
No.
Scored against Alloa last season. Remember that cracker he scored against Alloa last season? Aye. We're talking about Oa because he had his signed tops giveaway at the Falkirk Daft live event, and I think he's at some non-league club down south now. I can't remember who it was, but I'll do a quick Google a bit later on. Right, so you guys, we'll be asked this question all season. Who's the least favourite Falkirk player? See, Ross has changed it. Ross has done the plan. I was like, who's the worst player to ever pull on the navy blue? Ross has kind of just diluted it a wee bit. Who's your least favourite? You've been very woke. Well done, Ross is on Woke Watch this week. You weren't on Friday night, I would like to add, but least favourite Falkirk player, who would that be, guys? Go with you first, William.
Well, I remember I was through the, shall we say, 5 years of hell where we had people that, Mr. Hartley didn't see but signed.
That's true.
So getting any of those,
Yeah.
But,
That's okay, William.
Probably Ryan Williamson.
Ryan Williamson, the PE teacher. What about you, Fred?
Can't really say I've seen that much, right? But
It's all right, Fred. You've only done it for 2
To be
years.
fair, we've not had many bad players the last couple of years, though, have we?
That's true.
That is the bonus.
That is very, very true. You can't really pull anyone out for that, but there you are. Let's talk about the game then, shall we? As we talked about earlier on, Ross, the boss, McKeever, was back on the bench. It was the delight to see old Tequila back on the bench yesterday. But it was the same starting 11 as like it has been the last couple of weeks anyway, isn't it? The last 3 or 4 weeks we've not had any changes to make just because of the situation. But yeah, there's no.
Fred always checks the squad before we leave his house because Fred lives close to the stadium.
Right, okay.
And literally, about 2 o'clock, we normally leave the house, and it's like, I said, "What's the squad?" And he said, "Same as last week."
Same again.
Yeah, pretty much. But aye, Ross, there was no one you would have brought in. I'm guessing no change.
No, I think no, I wouldn't.
After Hamilton, I mean, after Hamilton, you know, it was such a good performance that at Hamilton there was, you know, obviously I don't think you're going to throw Ross straight back in, and especially Gary's like done a really relatively good job. But we play slightly different with Gary in the 9, but. Because you know we've talked about it before, Gary tends to drop a bit more than Ross does, but yeah, you wouldn't throw McKeever back in, would you?
No, I not if he's not fully fit. I thought he came on, and we'll talk about that. I thought he came on and did pretty well, won a good number of headers, and put himself about. But no, I wouldn't have put him in starting lineup. Gary and Aidan have been they've been swapping roles throughout this, haven't they? So like. Aidan will sometimes be the front man, Oliver will sometimes be the front man. So it is it's a weird dynamic that just seems to work, and it has been working. But it's brilliant to see Ross.
Talked about Aidan had a good number of chances yesterday. You know, in fact, probably you could give him the assist. Yeah, exactly. You can maybe have given the assist for the kind of second goal as well, because it was his shot that eventually fell to Calvin Miller. William, Fred, looking down at Dunfermline side, was there anyone that you felt was a bit of a threat to us?
I thought they were all push. Until
second half, they changed it.
Yeah, I was a bit concerned. Ewan Otto is a player that I think is a very good, and showed up even when he was playing left back. I thought he had a good, you know, I was a bit worried when I saw him in centre midfield. I was quite happy to see that they had left David Witherspoon on the bench. We saw what delivery he gave a bit later on when he came on. Same with like Joe. I think Joe Chalmers is a good player, and I don't know, he wasn't getting a game as well, but I would like to see, in fact, Chris Kane wasn't playing and they were relying again on Craig Whiting. Surprising was to see Kyle Benedictus. I actually thought that Hamilton, is it Cunningham that was playing as our captain? I actually thought for part of the match that was Benedictus, and was shouting, "Benedictus, you're right," because he looked exactly like he'd had the same build. And I was like, oh no, that's not Kyle Benedictus, I'm a fan.
He did. He had the same build and the same sort of haircut and stuff, didn't he? But no, I think you're right. It was Chris Hamilton, and he obviously didn't have the best of games at points yesterday, as we'll talk about shortly. But
Although me personally, I would have preferred Mehmet to be in goal.
Mehmet,
we know we can beat Mehmet, eh?
Yeah, it
would have been a better result, maybe.
Potentially,
yeah. The keeper, the good boy they've got on loan from Celtic. That boy, like I was getting told, the boy can kick a ball, and he was actually, distribution was really good, and didn't really have much to do. But we'll get into that just now. So yeah, we opened up. You know, brilliant. Got a shout out to the ultras again. Great tifo display to start the match. That looked fantastic with the flags and the banners. Better medal with the Bairns, the Devil, and the Bairns of Falkirk. I thought it looked brilliant to start. It was a brilliant atmosphere inside the stadium, Ross.
It was, yeah, 6,000 home fans, sold out, brilliant atmosphere. I know it was still daylight, but I thought they could maybe have put the disco lights on at kick-off anyway. But it was, we saw them at the end anyway, didn't we? But no, fantastic atmosphere. The fans, like I was in the ground for about 25 past 2, and the ultras were very loud, very loud. So much so that like the players couldn't have failed to have been up for that game yesterday, and there's no question that they were. But like, how could you not be inspired? And I was speaking to Jason Cherry, one of the ultras who was there on Friday night as well, and I was saying to him, this was just earlier, and I was speaking to him, and I said to him, "See the Dunfermline players, they must have got they would have had the opposite effect because they saw a half empty stand for the majority up until the warm up, right? And even then they were really quiet. The Dunfermline fans very quiet yesterday for a derby game.
Yeah, they were very quiet up until, I think they obviously, when they got their goal and got that wee stiff back, they really came into it a wee bit then, I thought.
Yeah, as you would expect, but I thought I was really disappointed in them yesterday. They didn't back their team, really.
Yeah.
I thought that, so, like, if they didn't, what was I going to say? Like, there was times that it would, like, oh yeah, we're going so well, and then, like, there was other times they were just like, oh, we're fucking shite, let's shut up.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I actually thought they were predicting. I was speaking to Stephen last week. He wasn't expecting a massive crowd, but they brought more than I thought they would do. I think how much was it in the end? Was it about 1,400 they brought in the end?
1,400 Parish fans.
I thought, but to be fair, it's not bad considering where they are and completely negative. And for their part, and we'll get into it, is they played. They gave us a game. They certainly gave us a game. But first half, talking about that, we get off as we do. It's a great ball. Gary Oliver, chance fell to him. It was a great block after a really good counter attack. And it looked like it was going to be a goal before. I was like, it's one of those ones. But the defenders just got crazy. In fairness, it was a really good block from them. But yeah, we started off all right, Ross.
We did, yeah. We were really bright as we hoped we would be. We were on it from the front foot. I thought that first half, especially the start of the first half, there was only one team looking to actually cross the halfway line and try and score a goal. To be honest, they looked as if they were setting up to be pretty defensive. I don't know if they hoped to counter us. They only really had maybe one or two chances in the first half, which. They were worries. The two chances they had, it was a bit of a heart in your mouth situation. But I genuinely thought for the bulk of that half, it was only us that were looking to do any damage.
What do you think?
Nicky actually pulled off a cracking save, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah, that was from the corner. It was a strike from the corner, wasn't it, William? I actually thought Nicky had went the wrong way. It was just, I don't know if it looked like Nicky had went the wrong way for it, and obviously he caught it with, knocked it with his legs, but it looked like Nicky had went the wrong way for that. But he kept the ball out, which is the most important part, because that was at 0-0. Not long after that, Ross, we go 1-0 up.
Deservedly so as well. A fantastic cross into the box. Gary Oliver, he was marked really quite tightly, so I can understand why he laid it off to Ethan. And I thought it was in. I must admit, because we were right behind it from our seats, and you just saw it curl, hit come off the post, and I wasn't really sure at the time what had happened, because we're like, did it just go in? Did it come out? What happened? And obviously the replays, we now know it was a Chris Hamilton OG, but
I saw it was an own goal straight away. I was like, it's just cannoned off him. It's a shame though, boys, William and Fred, that you just would love to, those one of those that goes in off the post into the back of the net, and
as Fred said when we were talking about it, he said, not being funny, the ball has to be in that position for it even to go off of the defender.
Exactly.
Ethan Ross had to go in and strike it as best he could, hit the post, and it, the luck was on our side when it came off the defender. Well, that's what you said, wasn't it? You know?
Absolutely. Aidan had a chance not long after it as well. A brilliant. I thought
such a nice ball in.
Such a brilliant ball in from Leon McCann, and he took it down. Like Aidan Nesbitt's first touch, and fired it at the couch. If he just did drop the shoulder, got a yard and got the shot away. But yeah, it was good save from the goalkeeper in the end. But I thought Aidan, especially when he did that little pirouette turn as well, I thought Aidan had a really good game yesterday.
Yeah. No, he did. Wee Cruyff turn on it.
Yeah, it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I thought Aidan was, again, I think Aidan Nesbitt as a player we really miss, and you see a big difference inside when he's not playing in that 10, because he's just so, I think it's quite well known that he's runs the most in the team, and you can just see he's up and down, he's there, he's everywhere, man. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, no, you're right, John. And I think obviously John McGlynn's talked about him before with the amount of mileage that he gets in a game, the running that he does. But we do miss his intensity because he does get us up and down that park really, really well. And when Aidan Nesbitt's not in the team, I think we are a bit slower in the build-up.
Yeah, Keelan Adams had a good first half. He kind of fell out of feel in the second half. A couple of big wrong busting runs, and it didn't seem like William and Fred they knew what to do with him.
No, I think all season that's what you've been saying about me since he got into the team. Although we miss Callum on that side when he does that long buster and run, it's a bit like whoa, But he's only young, so
yeah,
yes. He's got some engine on him, hasn't he?
I can see a goal coming for him soon.
Yeah, he did have a couple of strikes at goal. It was one that it was like he should have laid it off. I can't remember. I think it was Dylan Tate was on the right hand side and he should have laid it off. That was in the second half, and then he had one that in the first half as well. I thought, but I have heard as well that there is a Premiership club looking at Keelan Adams apparently, and they've had a couple.
Right.
I've had a couple of looks at him, so it'll be interesting to see if anything happens maybe in January, and then they think, well, we'll loan him back. And I'm talking English Premiership, not Scottish Premiership.
Surely it would take a fair wedge for us to sell him this early, John, because he's so young, isn't he?
If someone comes and offers you $1 million.
Listen, of course you would. You'd bite the hand.
If someone comes, because it's like play money, like they can gamble. Say some like $1 million. Let's just say it. Like when we think about, I guess Conor McGrandles is probably the closest example we've got to that, and that was reportedly cash with add-ons. If someone comes on and gives you there's £1 million, but you know what, we'll loan them back to you for until the end of the season. You go. You take that because I mean it's just play money. I mean down south that's £1 million is not even a gamble. It's not even a risk, something like that. So I'd be interested to see if my rumour, what I've heard is true. But we'll wait and see. I will not reveal my.
Well, we know what's happened to players that went south sometimes. Tony the Tiger went south to Liverpool.
True. True.
So not being funny. Other players have left our club and no got game time.
That is true.
I remember back in the day watching Alain Gow. I think he played for Falkirk. Then he went to Rangers and played
about 7 minutes.
A handful of games.
Yeah.
That's true. I'm not being funny. As a football player, you want to play football. I know you're a big wrestling fan, John.
I am.
Shane McManus. These entrance music.
Yeah. Here comes the money. Listen,
here comes the money. And in principle, we want to be a club that brings young players through, gives them that opportunity.
But we also want to make money, William. That's the thing. We want to make that green stuff because it's been a long time coming since we've had a player that's moved on for money. I think in the team right now we've got players that could make us some money. And when you look at Adams, I think Nicky's going to be another one that's going to be, when he's such a young goalkeeper and got a mile ahead of him in his career.
Nicky's a great keeper.
Yeah, he's really come on to it. You look at.
I have a support worker because I suffer from a mental health condition, and he's a Hearts fan. And before the Hearts, he said, I hope you have a good game. And after the Hearts game, he said, I didn't get in there because I couldn't get a ticket. He said, but that keeper you've got? He said, I wouldn't be surprised if he'd get a Scotland cap soon.
The Scotland's
wow.
Certainly an area that Scotland are lacking is good goalkeepers, so who knows? But yeah, we've got a lot of players in that kind of market. Getting back to the game, big chance for Dunfermline Ross before half time. Lewis McCann, who obviously went on to score their goal, that was a big header. Wasn't it?
It was. Let's face it, they were only really troubling us at set pieces. And they were a big team. Probably not as big as Livy were, but they were a big team, and I did only worry every time they put the ball in the box at a corner or a free kick. That was a bit of a worry for me. That one looked very close to going in, and do you know what? I think it still would have been harsh for us to go in level at halftime.
I think the first half certainly. We're more Falkirk, we're more ourselves in that first half, and if we had got a goal in before half time, I think it could have come out and we could have, maybe have went on to score a lot more. But yeah, it was what it was. We played our football in the first half. I think the second half was maybe slightly different. I mean, Dunfermline kind of got themselves into the game. However, it should have been like 2-0. I mean, right after half time. How come Dylan Tate got booked? Has reputation went against Dylan Tate there? For me, in the world, it looks like a penalty. What did you guys think, William and Fred?
Well, look, from a penalty, we sit in the main stand towards Section E. So we thought it was a penalty, and we also watch other things like, who was it? Was it Gordon McCall's thing? And he saw the penalty. Remember when we watched it? Gordon McCall.
Yeah, he does the from behind the goals, doesn't he? Yeah.
And literally, if you see the thingy of that, bloody hell, it's more of a Stonewall penalty than it is from even a Falkirk TV perspective, eh?
Yeah, Ross, you were with me on it. I mean, it was a penalty, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was a penalty at the time. It looked like he had his hands all over him, and then when you watch it back, and I've watched it back quite a number of times on the Falkirk TV, and they zoomed in, it's a penalty. So I'm not sure what he saw. The annoyance is we not only didn't get a penalty, which you can live with, because sometimes you get a pen and sometimes you don't, right? But the booking for Dylan Tate for diving was an absolute joke, because he didn't dive, right? But we know he's on the cusp of a potential suspension coming soon. So that's another yellow card that realistically he didn't need this.
Is he not suspended for next week? I think he is.
So
is he not?
I think he's still another. I think he's another card.
Is that right? Someone told me after the match that he was suspended for the Morton game.
That's what we've heard on social media. We saw it. It's like, oh, that's 5. That's been suspended. But if we have enough evidence, can we not actually appeal it?
I don't think you can appeal a yellow card. So you can't do that, unfortunately. But someone did tell me that we were suspended for Morton, but you don't think that's the case, Ross?
I thought it was 6. I thought 6 yellow cards. And the reason I thought it was 6 is because I remember reading where they get wiped after 18. So as in potential, not wiped, but as in like the ability to have a suspension is then wiped to 18 games. I thought it was 6 yellow cards. And I think he's only on 5, but I'm happy to be corrected on that one.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. I guess if he isn't suspended, that is obviously very, very good news for us for next week against Morton. I'm just having a look at it. Actually, I'm on transfer market just now. I'm just having a look.
Does that give you the totals of the cards I've had so far, does it?
Yeah, so Dylan Tate's not here, actually. That's surprising. Why is that? Suspensions, here we go. I'm looking down. Compact suspension. Risk of suspension. No, it's saying that Brad Spencer's on 4, but I don't see Dylan Tate anywhere here just now. So who knows? Who knows? We'll get that cleared up hopefully by the end of the podcast. We'll look into that. But yeah, it was it was for me a penalty, and obviously Dunfermline go up the other end of the park with Hessler just firing that low cross across the box, which luckily no one was on the end of it. But it should have been. It was a bit of a jolt for Falkirk, I think, at that point, and it should have jolted us a bit into life because we were sleeping a wee bit, I think, in that second half. But we got on and we got our second goal, Ross.
We did, and it was a fantastic ball through again from Dylan Tate. Like he genuinely can just put the ball through the eye of a needle, because that was a packed midfield at the time. An absolute beautiful pass through Aidan Nesbitt. He was unlucky. We shot because obviously it was really well saved actually by the keeper. But do you know what? Like people will say, Steve, obviously your colleague Stephen talks about fortunate Falkirk. We had boys in the box. We had people there anticipating the ball not going in the net. So I don't think that's fortunate. I think that's a phenomenal piece of attack.
No, it's never fortunate. You do sometimes get bits of fortune, but the fact that you're in those positions to make your own luck. You make your own luck. I mean, it's not luck. The keeper had a good save. Dunfermline, in fairness, should have got it defensively.
Should have cleared it.
They should have cleared it, and obviously Calvin's there to knock it into the back of the net.
But she seen the celebration. Fred didn't see the celebration, but normally last season he was a darts celebration. This one,
oh no, I noticed he changed it this year.
Is he doing something with that? Like he was mixing a honey pot or something like that, like mixing a bowl like a cake. Aye, it was like I don't know what he was. It was like he was mixing, like maybe he's just a fan of the British Bake Off, Calvin, and he's doing a wee mixture for his wee cake, because that's maybe what it was. Calvin could confirm or deny that he's a fan of the Bake Off. But yeah, 2-0. I think I wouldn't say we were due to 2-0 at that point, but listen, 2-0, absolutely take it. Then we brought on, and this is the point I thought it was a bit of a turning point. We brought on the subs, and I think that upset us for the first wee bit, because they didn't score. It was pretty much right after we brought the subs on that they scored. Was that a foul for the free kick that they got, though? What does everybody think?
No, I think the referee somewhat didn't say he lost the game, but I'm maybe watching it through Falkirk eyes, eh?
I saw the reaction, because guys, we sit right behind the home dugout, and you saw John McGlynn's reaction to Finn Yates giving the free kick away, and he was pissed off. So I think on that basis, it must have been a foul. It must have been a foul. Yeah,
fair play. But it was a good head. It was, in fairness, it was a really good head. Again, it was zonal, so the boy McCann just sneaked in between Graham and Adams and was able to get a good. I mean, and that was Witherspoon, who obviously came off the bench for them. His delivery, which caused lots of problems, I have to say. It's one thing that David Witherspoon is very good at, is delivering the ball from a dead ball situation, and that kind of upset. I thought the boy Mabudi, who came on as well, gave us all sorts of trouble as well. I mean, he got booked. I'm going on to it as well. He dived at one point and wasn't given a second booking, which, the precedent had been sent before. And because he was on a yellow card, the referees went, no, I'm not booking him. But I was screaming. I was like, that's a dive.
Yeah, it should have been a second yellow, and he should have been off.
Aye. Because I thought it was an absolute dive. It was the same as if you're booking Dylan for that, you've got to book him. But the referees went, oh, he's on a yellow, so I'll not book it. That's what it felt like to me.
The rules are the rules sometimes, and referees have to understand that.
Yeah,
as a foul that's bookable, it has to be
spot on. That was a point I had made at the time as well, William. Just because it wasn't in the box doesn't make it any less of a booking if he's dived to try and win a foul. So I completely agree. I thought the ref was poor. I know it's easy to say that just flippantly, but there was a lot of situations yesterday where you thought, come on, mate. Like this pulling back a player for like a foot of a throw in as well. Like, I don't mind that. See if someone's taking an extra 10 yards, like they're taking the piss. But see if it's just like an extra foot and he was pulling it back constantly, you just felt, no, come on.
Yeah, aye. But it certainly got them riled up, and they went on to have a series of chances. Most of us our own doing, which happened all game. Luke Graham queers up. Nicky, I don't know what Nicky was thinking. Nicky came for a ball which he was not getting in a month of Sundays, and you're like, what you doing, Nicky? But luckily the header, when Nicky came, failed to get the ball, and the header goes in. Big Luke is there on the line to clear it off. So
phenomenal.
Luke Graham's play goes back to what Cole said at the live event on Friday.
It's true. He'll struggle to get back in. That is the situation, isn't it? He'll struggle
to get a game in their team.
He's an absolute machine, and again, cleared one off the line as well with his foot as well.
You do that twice, eh?
Yeah, at that point, you were going, oh God, this. All the chat when we're 2-0 and we're all having a laugh in the stands and all this sort of stuff. But it was very quiet in our group, Ross. I don't know if you noticed that after that first goal, and it was just a bit like everyone kind of sat like that going, shit.
Well, I feel as if I jinxed it, to be honest, because I'm sure I turned round to, I don't know if it was you or the other side of your row, and I was like, right, this will be 3 or 4 now.
Yes.
And then absolutely jinxed it.
Absolutely jinked it. We were sleeping a wee bit, I think, defensively. The midfield kind of fell away a wee bit. I think it was pretty much after the changes got made. Good, though, to see Ross McKeever back on the park. And as we said earlier on, got up the park is into that 9 position, which we're so accustomed to. One headers, did what Ross does, and it was great to see him back in. Do you think we'll talk about the Morton game, do you think he potentially just comes straight back into the side next week if he's fit enough, Ross?
It's a tough one. John McGlynn tends to keep a winning team.
Yeah.
And we have a winning team. So there's a big part of me that's thinking, no, he won't, and he'll stay on the bench.
Yeah.
That said, Ross McKeever so far this season has been a massive player for us. And if Callum Morrison at some point is going to be back fit, right? Is he going to wait or is he going to come straight back in? Because John McGlynn likes to talk about how Callum is top scorer the last 3 years, massive player for us. He talks about Ross in the same vein. Maybe Ross will come straight back in. Maybe Callum will come straight back in.
I don't think Callum comes straight back in at all. I think Ethan Ross, in the form he's in, what happens with Ethan, though, he tends to fly in the first half and he falls out of it a wee bit. Yesterday I thought it was really interesting as well, talking about the subs, is Alfie came off the bench, right, but they still persisted of playing Calvin on the right and they put Alfie on the left. And we've talked about Alfie on the left and he's just not that effective when he's out on the left. I know why they do it, so he can cut in and get shots away, those inverted wingers. But Calvin, again, just feels more comfortable out on that left-hand side as well. But I going back to the Morrison point, I think Ethan Ross doesn't get displaced at the moment. I don't think so. What do you guys think, William and Fred?
Well, when Alfie came on, Alfie was sort of like one of the players I really do. I love the thing you say about Captain Chaos.
Yeah.
With Alfie, he is a sort of a little bit of a Marmite player. Some people like him, some people don't like him.
Who doesn't like Alfie? I'll have lots of them.
Oh, I know somebody in the South Stand that has an issue with him, but that's his issue. But in principle, when he does what he does, and he does it with a swagger. I remember Alfie playing against us when he played for Kelty. I know, being funny. Whoa, them 3 goals he scored against us.
Oh yeah, that was.
Made us sign him, but me and Fred discussed it. He said, "Why is Alfie not on the right?"
Yeah, I thought it was a really odd choice, but it was fine. But because at the end of the day, there was one big chance that we didn't have that many chances to talk about in that second half. But that chance where there was a breakaway and we caught the ball, won the ball back. Finn and Alfie are 2-on-1. The goalkeeper was miles off his line. I think if Finn had rolled in Alfie, he's running in and go to score it. But the goalie's off his line. He's got that. I think the crowd all urged him to shoot at that point, and it went wide. It would have been brilliant if it had went in.
It would have been a brilliant goal. And the keeper, by the way, as much as you're right, his distribution was okay. He kicked it constantly. Like he wasn't doing what Nicky was doing, which was looking to see which defender I'm going to pass it out to. I don't think they've got the confidence to do that.
They're not a good enough team. I said this before the second goal. Like as they tried to play out, which led to the second goal. They tried to play out, and I turned to Fraser, who sits beside me, saying they're not that good enough to do that. And enough, we won the ball back in midfield. Dylan delivers that brilliant ball, and we score from it. But it was very much their distribution was punt, hoof.
That was their game plan.
Yeah, that was. And it almost worked. It almost worked. Let's face the facts. They could have quite rightly have come away there with a point yesterday.
Yeah. We were worried when when it got to 2-1. We were like, don't fuck it up, eh?
Everyone was exactly the same, William. Everyone was sitting in the stadium thought exactly the same. But listen, I don't think it by any matters means it's the best we've played all season. In fact, it's probably up there as not one of our probably the worst Is it our worst performance of the season? Would you say, Ross? Apart from Stenny, but
I don't
in the league. In the league, in terms of the league, Wraith Rovers obviously we got beat.
Yeah, in the league, it's maybe it's hard because see if you were looking at the full game, I don't think it's the worst we've played.
Wraith
Yeah.
is effectively our worst performance.
Well, we didn't do enough against Wraith. We had loads of the ball and we couldn't find I don't think we had a shot on target against Wraith.
Yeah.
But I think for that game, that first half, if we'd went in 3 or 4 goals up, I don't think there would have been a huge complaint from Dunfermline. So for that reason, no, I don't think it was the worst. But going back to that chance for Yates, I think you're right. The crowd were obviously on him to shoot, and why wouldn't you see if any one of us had that opportunity, you wouldn't play Alfie, you would have a go, and it just didn't happen for him. It was he gave it a go, he didn't hit it high enough or accurately enough, but fair play to him for giving it a go, because if he'd passed Alfie and Alfie ran it into the corner or something, or was pushed in,
Alfie would have
been moaning as well. So
I think Alfie, if he's got slipped in there, I think he's running in on goal and scoring, but that's just but there you go. Anyway, 2-1 up the road, 3 points, beating Dunfermline twice, which has not happened in a long time.
Against my brother.
Exactly, natural order restored. That's what we like to see in the derby, which is great. Let's hear what John McGlynn had to say after the match, shall we?
John, you said before the game on Friday that you were expecting a really tough match. I think that was a really tough match, and I think the boys did exceptionally well just to hold on at the end there.
Yeah, in the end, but the game's come in 2 halves, and I thought we were a very, very good first half. I thought some of the football was excellent, and probably feel we maybe should have been further ahead. Some of the football we played was great. The attacks that we built, playing through the phases and getting the ball wide. Our wingers looking to play really, really well. I think maybe we could have been further ahead, but it was a kind of tight game. Don't get me wrong. You only 1-0 up. There's not much in it. And Nicky's had a great save. Nicky's had an excellent save in the first half. Great save from the corner kick. Got a strike at goal from the corner kick, and Nicky made a great save. And so, of course, I'm saying that we could have been ahead, but it also could have been 1 each. In the second half, we had an opportunity in a 2v2 situation, maybe to have got the lead or to have scored in the second half quicker than we actually did. But again, good work, pressing high, winning the ball back, the ball for Dylan, forward to Nizzy was a great ball. Obviously, he shot, goalie saves it, and a bit of ricochet landing for Calvin Miller to stick the ball with back there, so 2-0. And then we got really sloppy in possession. I think we overdone it in possession. And we gave possession away, and unfortunately we brought it onto ourselves, and set plays were key. And it's a set play that Dunfermline scored from. It's a good header. Nicky's got no chance, it's in off the post. But it's disappointing to lose a goal from that, but a lot of probably goals that Dunfermline will score and will probably possibly come from set plays. But I'm just delighted that we've won the game. We're put under pressure, and there's strong mentality to make sure that we could hold on to the lead, and you've got to dig in, and it's exactly what the player showed. Big Luke's done brilliantly. He's come back there. He's won a header. Nicky's came for a ball from a long free kick. Doesn't get there. It's header. It's gone in the goal, and Big Luke comes in and makes a header and clearance, and then there's another one from another set play or a ball going in the back area, which they've won, and it's possibly going in, and Big Luke gets back. So delighted for everyone involved, delighted for all the players, fans, everyone here today. It's a win. We've been quite often we've come away from these games and we've played really well and maybe not got the result, and maybe today we got a little bit payback on that.
There you go, that's the views of Mr. McGlynn there. Talked about us being sloppy in possession. I think we could all see that, certainly in the second half as well. I don't think Tate and Spencer got going in that second half. I thought Brad Spencer was actually really good in what he did. He didn't do his usual Brad stuff, but I thought in terms of winning the ball, winning headers in the midfield, he was really good at that. I thought Dylan fell away a wee bit in the second half as well. I wasn't surprised when he came off.
Do you not think it coincided with the booking, John? I thought
there was maybe a bit of that just in the back of his head, because like John says, we've played better against Dunfermline and come away with nothing. And they're a tough. Derby game's always going to be tough, and McPake for that whole League One campaign had the light over John McGlynn, and just glad that it's happening in reverse this time. And I was delighted to shout McPake, "Get to fuck your fanny" when he walked off, because I just remember in previous derbies I'm just giving it big licks, giving it the big on. So get it up here, James McPake. Fantastic.
Well, we sit behind the away dugout, eh?
Yeah.
And shall we say, you were giving him a nice introduction, weren't you?
And he was. Dave Mackay was at it as well. Bunch of idiots, man. But I have to say, if I was a Dunfermline supporter, there was points in that game I thought, up until they got the goal, I thought this is a really toothless Dunfermline side. There was a point where there was a ball up at the. It was kicking about our half, right? And Falkirk supporters weren't going to kick it about. They were 1-0 down at this point, and you think, see if I'm a Dunfermline player, I'm running up, I'm getting that ball, I'm getting it down. None of them were bothered. None of them were bothered at all. And I thought until they got their goal, until they made the changes that they did that affected the game, I thought it was a really toothless, really poor Dunfermline display. And I'm not surprised that there's calls, Dunfermline supporters certainly aren't happy with McPake and where they find themselves at the moment. I mean, 6 points in 10 games now for them. A team that should be up, or they think they should be up at the top of the league, challenging. You wouldn't be happy if you're a Dunfermline supporter and seen that yesterday. Especially, I mean, let's not beat about the bush either. It's this type of football they were playing in League One as well. It's not an attractive brand of football. I mean, that match against Livingston, or I think it's Tuesday or Wednesday night, that is going to be a brutal game of football.
That's just to see who can shitfest it the most, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I've got a feeling it'll be Livy, to be honest.
It'll be that ball will be in the hospital at the end of the match. It's going to be so brutal, a game of football. It'll be interesting. I mean, at this point, no, I wouldn't mind a Dunfermline win. When you look at the table and look at how Livingston, they came back from a goal down yesterday and scored in the last kind of 5 minutes yesterday as well. So, but it's
we just have to control our game. Falkirk just need to look after our results and then just let them.
Yes, it's very true. It's very true. But let's see what you guys had to say after the Gitch. You know what? We're talking about at the start. We should have cut. When I went back to the pub, there should be a massive buzz. I just think, and me and Ross were talking about it as well. We should come bouncing onto this podcast elated. But I just think there was this expectation yesterday that we go out and pump them, and it didn't happen. So, brilliant, 3 points, happy with that, delighted with that. The beer tastes so much sweeter, but it wasn't that big raucous celebration really at the end, because I just think the focus was like, that's a really good chance to absolutely pump them and create a Super Tuesday for this generation. But
maybe that's what Sunday, Friday the 27th of December, maybe that's where we're saying
at East End. Fingers crossed.
That'd be a great New Year's present.
It would be a great way to end the year. But let's see what you guys had to say about it. Craig says, way off it for me, although we still won against Set Piece FC. Luke Graham was immense and handled their physicality well. Referee was poor overall, but got the penalty decision massively wrong and wrongly gave Tate another yellow card.
Totally agree with him. John says, not sure if it's Liam Beckenbauer or Franz Henderson. Different class. More nervous than it needed to be. By far the better team till we went 2 up. They were dangerous from set pieces, but not much else.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that Hessler got subbed off as well. I thought he looked at a bright spark for them as well. But
I think he's a sand dancer, John.
He's a sand dancer, yeah.
He loves his tail as well.
Yeah, well, that's true. Logie says, not our best today, but 3 points secured against that manky mob. Again, quality performances from Graham and Nesbitt. Once again, good to see Big Ross back on the park as well.
Indeed. Craig, another Craig, says, not at our best and against 12 men, but we did enough to win it. Natural order restored.
Absolutely. Emma says, shouldn't have been that nerve-wracking, sloppy at times, and the fanning about in her own box stressed me out, but still a win. Kudos to the wee legend at half-time who won the crossbar challenge.
Yes, this wee boy, by the way. I don't know if we've got his name. Have you got his name, John?
I don't have his name, but I'm sure it was something like John Robertson. It was something I heard it over the tannoy. By the way, we'll get to Falkirk Daft rated and talk about it in a minute, because I think there's 2 contenders for me, but we'll get into, there's maybe 3 contenders actually. We'll get into it in a minute. I think, Emma, what I think is interesting, fanning about in our own box. I used to get stressed out about that, but see when you've got Big Luke and Liam being really naturally a midfielder, I never stress that one. They set traps, our defence. They set traps, they invite people in, and they're always looking to cut that ball in the middle of the park to either Spencer or Tate. And there's all these wee traps get set by particularly Nicky and the back two. I don't stress about it anymore, because I think they're good enough ball players that, both of them at centre half, that they're quite comfortable. I mean, inevitably, as soon as I said that, they're going to fanny about the back against Morton and they're going to score from it. But I don't stress so much about it.
John, I'm the same. I don't know about the boys, but I'm the same. I've got a confidence about us that we're going to be fine. And as you said, we're doing it for the reason that we're trying to open up this other team. We're not doing it because, if you think back to 15 years ago when Yogi was there, he loved possession football and he would fanny about it all day long in his own half. The team would fanny about it all day long in our own half. However, we know where we're going with it. We're looking to play, Dylan and Brad are looking to play Ethan, Calvin, Aidan.
I think we have trust in the team, though. The team have trust in each other. They back each other up.
They do.
Absolutely.
They do. Ali says probably the poorest we've played in the championship so far, but still streets ahead of the hammer throwers. Felt sorry for Tate with that disgrace of a decision by the referee.
Absolutely. Yeah, Del says not pretty at all. A lot of players not at the races. However, we ground it out and deserved the win. The ref though, woofed.
Indeed. And finally, John Harding. I know there's a reason I'm going to use his full name. He didn't play well, but will definitely take the 3 points. They targeted Leon with their long balls. That's a coincidence because he's got a long... Anyway. But he battled well. Not sure why we appeared nervous at times. Also, why did we not swap Miller and Aggieman to their natural wings when Alfie came on? Huge plus to see Big Ross back. Come on, you Bairns. And just as a follow-on, John's lovely wife Carolyn got in touch to see if we could say happy 40th birthday to John Harding this Thursday coming from us both at Falkirk Daft. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday. I'm delighted. The return of Birthday Corner to the podcast. I'm delighted Caroline. Birthday Corner is back. Happy 40th, John. And that's from your wife Caroline. Can we get people saying your son... your dog and all that sort of stuff? I love that sort of stuff like they do in the, so happy birthday, John. Congratulations on the 40th. There you go. Right, brilliant. Right, let's get into it then. Who is our Falkirk Daft rated player? Now I've got 3 contenders, but I'll let you go first, Ross.
Right, okay, my player, Falkirk Daft player, is Nicky Hogarth. I thought he was phenomenal yesterday and I was shocked that he wasn't named man of the match, if I'm being really honest.
William, what about you?
I would have to join with, because of the saves that the few saves he did pick up. I know he did make a few other issues, but Nicky is, yeah.
Oh, Nicky for you. What about you, Fred?
I'd say there was either Nicky or Luke Graham. If he didn't save, if he didn't clear those 2, goal line.
Good shout.
Players, it would have been a totally different game. But then again, if Nicky didn't make the saves, it would have been a different game as well. So.
I will have the casting vote. So I've got 3 contenders. 1 contender, the wee man who scored the crossbar at half time. I think we give him an honorary Falkirk Daft rated.
I think we do, yeah.
But there was another guy who lived the dream yesterday, and I don't know who you are, sir. Please get in touch with the podcast, or if you know this guy. The dream which every football supporter has, when that ball goes out of play and into the stands, you get the chance to head it back onto the field. There was a man in the stands that did that yesterday.
I didn't see who it was, but he had a tally on it, didn't he?
Oh, it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. One of these days it will just happen. I'd love it to happen to me. But see, so I remember my 2 contenders, but I'm going to give the honorary one to the wee man who scored at half time. That was unbelievable. Everyone's scored up going, this wee guy's got the chance. Boom. 700 quid and a new PlayStation 5.
Well, let's hope his granddad does give him the.
Oh, he's got his granddad's got no credit to that. The wee man absolutely nailed it.
He bought the ticket, obviously. He would have bought the ticket.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good granddad and give it to his grandson. 700 nick, or maybe 500, 200 split. We'll say that's probably fair. So 500 to the wee man, 200 quid for the grandpa, I think. But yeah, brilliant. And I like that guy. But I think I'm going to go with Fred on this. I think Luke Graham, and the reason I'm going to give it to Luke Graham, and I think he should be Falkirk Daft rated, is because Nicky went the wrong. He definitely went the wrong way when he saved that shot from the corner, and he could have cost us at the end with going mental and deciding to run off his line and get the ball. And Big Luke strode in, headed it off the line. And he also had that line clearance, and I thought, look, maybe could you put him at fault for their goal? Maybe, but I thought Big Luke. And we've not mentioned Hendo, and I don't know why we don't mention Hendo enough as we do, because Hendo, as someone said, is the Kaiser. He just strolls it, and he's done so well. Obviously, he's talking Luke through the game as well as the experienced pro at the back as well. But I think just for Luke's contribution in defence and for those two clearances, Luke Graham, or are we going with Nicky?
No, listen, I'm easily swayed, as we know, John. Luke Graham, he was fantastic yesterday. He was, and another shout out though, because I know I told you this before the game. I bumped into Luke Graham's dad before the match, and he said Luke is absolutely loving his time at the club.
Oh, so, brilliant! That
full time then.
Oh, exactly. I honestly wish we that. But I'll tell you right now, that boy will be a Scotland international.
The thing is, you never know what these loan deals can lead to, though, because we don't know what path Dundee are doing with their recruitment, right? See, when this, and I don't know what I think he might have just signed a new contract with Dundee, actually, but you don't know what a future conversation could lead to. And if he loves his time at the club, and here in the Premier League, and we can potentially afford to pay him his whatever salary he normally gets, then you never know.
Yeah, you never know. But I think that I think he'll be. When I'm talking about Keelan Adams and all that, people will look at this boy because he's got the physique, he's got the build, he's a ball-playing centre-half. Like, for a boy his age, his strength, his upper body strength, and coming up against, Championship is the land of the giants. You look at teams like Livingston, you look like we played yesterday, see McCann, who's playing on the wing for them, he's big lad, and, had that great header yesterday as well. I think that boy is going places. I definitely think he's going to have a Scotland top on him at some point. If he's not in the he should. I think. What age is he? Is he?
Yeah, he would be under 21. He should be.
Should be in that 12.
Yeah.
I don't think Adams qualifies for the 21s anymore, but he's another player that certainly the 21s should be looking at, because he's been outstanding, absolutely outstanding all season. But there you go. So Falkirk Daft rated goes to Luke Graham and the wee man. Honorary mention for hitting the crossbar as well. Fantastic. Who are we giving our Dafty to? I think there's only going to be one winner here, and it's usually the referee, Ross.
It's the referee this
week. There we are. Who was the referee yesterday? Let's just have a wee Google on that so we can name him and shame him. What about for you, William and Fred?
Yeah, probably the ref.
Probably the ref. What about you, Fred?
Either say the ref or James McPake for managing Dunfermline.
Listen, do you know what a moany he is as well on the bench? He's constantly moaning. What was that bit with James McPake as well? We had fouled his player, right? So he got the free kick. Our player, I think it might have been Keelan Adams, got a booking. What more did he want that situation to happen? Did he want a sending off? Because it wasn't a sending off.
Yeah. Chris Graham was the referee yesterday, so yeah, James McPake. Let's put honorary Dafty James McPake, and let's just say Chris Graham Dafty of the week. There we go. Brilliant. Okay, so that's that dealt with. The game is dealt with, but this is the real game right now we've got to deal with as I take on Fred and William at Falkirk Daft versus Come On. Now, as I've already said, me and Ross put Sean and Josh to the sword at Falkirk Daft Live. I had great delight in walking past them and flashing them the big L yesterday as with their commentary position. They are raging. They are they are calling us out saying, "Oh, we're too young," and like, how do we know that it was the first sponsor on the Falkirk shirt was? They were calling us out for everything. But you know what, guys? There can only be one winner, and there can only be one winner today, William and Fred. So I'm going to take you both on. Ross has got a couple of questions. It's like a penalty shootout. 5 questions on Falkirk. You take on me. I got well and truly stuffed by Chris Hind when he was on, so I'm really making for a return to form because I've let the boys down. I think we're 7-1 up at the moment, Ross, aren't we?
I think so, 7-1. Yeah.
So right, here we go. I'm ready to take. I'm ready to take you. Here we go. Come on, Ross.
So John, have you got a pen and paper to hand?
I've got a pen, and let me find a bit of paper. We're back to the old Scott. We're back to the old my life insurance plan.
Right.
I think I can write on it.
Okay,
right. So
fine.
cool.
So, Fred and William, you'll take turns answering, so there's no conferring. Okay.
Fuck's sake.
However, the good news for, probably more so for Fred, is that the questions I'm going to ask today are all either this season or last season. So
that's fine. He's happy.
Oh, wait!
It's just the way they've fell, John. I didn't know that.
That's quite
It's just the way
disappointing.
they've fell.
Right,
So, question number 1 for both of you. Now, John, you're writing it down. Fred and William, don't shout out until we see John's answer, okay? So, question number 1. Who scored the very first goal of this year's league campaign? So, who scored the first goal of this year's league campaign? And, Fred, you can answer first, and then the next question will be William, okay? So, Fred.
First name that came to mind, total guess, Dylan Tate.
You're saying Dylan Tate. John McAnally.
Calvin Miller.
The correct answer was Calvin Miller against Queen's Park. It was indeed. It was indeed. So it's 1-0 currently to Falkirk Daft. The second goal, by the way, can anyone, not that there's a point for it, but can you remember who scored the second goal that day?
It was Sean Mackey.
It was Sean Mackey. However, it's still 1-0. That's fine. So question number 2. William, this will be you to do this. Name the last player to be sent off for Falkirk. Name the last player to be sent off for Falkirk. Now, this could be any competition, not so much just leagues.
Any competition.
And this will be William. But John, we will make sure you've got something written down first.
You got it written down?
I've got it written down.
Okay.
I've got Michael McKenna.
You've went Michael McKenna. William.
I remember, did Brad not get a second yellow, so he was sent off? Brad Spencer.
You're thinking Brad Spencer.
For a second yellow.
The correct answer was Michael McKenna versus Celtic in the League Cup.
Yeah, the year.
The other one we've had as well was Liam Henderson. Remember, he got
And
sent
Ryan Shanley as well.
Ryan Shanley too.
Oh, him, yeah.
So it's currently 2-0. So we're coming back to Fred. So question number 3. How many points did we finish with last season? So how many points did we finish on last season?
I wish I was drinking from my Invincible's glass right now. My whiskey glass.
So we'll wait for John to write these answers down.
I've written this down. I think it's wrong. I'll wait till Fred can write down and I'll show my answer.
Okay, Fred, what do you think?
Is it who's closest or?
No, I'm looking for an exact answer here.
I think it was 95.
You're thinking 95. John.
I've written down 86.
Yous are both wrong on this one. The correct answer was 90. 90. So it's still 2-0. Now, boys, you can still tie this. Take it to a tiebreaker, right? But you do need to get the next 2 right. Question number 4. Who wore the shirt number 20 last season?
You love a shirt number question. I really should research it. It's just your go-to.
So who wore shirt number 20 but last season, not this season? And I think we're back to William, aren't we?
I know it is this year.
If you get this wrong, William, there's no pressure, son. There's no pressure.
Take your time.
Take your time, William. There's no pressure. Repeat, there's no pressure. I just want to say, though, if you do get this wrong, we win or I win. So there's just no pressure on you. Absolutely nothing. No pressure at all. Like,
listen, stop winding him up. Have you got an answer?
I've written down something. I don't think it's right, but I've written down something.
So, William, I'm going to come to you. Who wore shirt number 20 last season?
No, it wasn't him.
Take your time, like.
Don't take your time, William. Just whatever comes into your head first. That's going to be the answer.
Yeah, I'm going to have to rush you, William.
Ryan Shanley, but I can't remember.
I'm going to say Ryan Shanley. Okay. So
I have written down Finn Yeats.
Finn Yeats.
Exactly.
I'm going to tell you that the answer was Leighton Bisland.
Yeah!
John, I am offended that you didn't get that right. We sponsored his shirt.
So we did. We did. We sat beside Leighton at the recognition dinner and we chatted. What a great lad. By the way, Leighton, what a great lad he is. He's at Arbroath now, isn't he? But what a cracking lad Leighton is. Just a shame it didn't work out for
Now, so the winning team today is John and Falkirk Daft.
Yes, get it. Up, yeah, William, and I can't really say it. Fred's a youngster. I can't really say that to Fred. Jesus. What is happening?
I'm so annoyed, John. I'm so annoyed because I wanted to use my tiebreaker and I'm going to ask you anyway, right? Because
yeah. If you want to use it, I would have just saved it, but there you go.
No, I want to use it because, well, it's only relevant today.
All right, okay.
So, guys, and I'll throw this out. All three of you can answer, okay? So we have played 5 home league games so far. What do all of the attendances tally up to? So this is going to be our closest to, right? So we've played 5 home games in the league so far, but what do all of the attendances tally up to?
Rough guesses.
It's 44,000. So what is it? That's 3 sellouts.
Can we use a calculator?
Yes. Nah. You're so harsh, John.
Right, so
3 sellouts is 7,000. How many is in the stadium? Remember you counted them?
No, it isn't 6,000.
Let's see. What else was there home game?
Approximately times 3. Race was only 4,000 something.
So just as a reminder, we've been at home to Queen's Park, Partick Thistle, Ayr, Livingston, and the Filth.
Was Ayr United a sellout?
I'm not going to comment.
Come on. Help us out here.
Right, I'm going to have to rush these both. So, John, I'm going to come.
I will say. I'll just go for a closest to. So I'll say about 31,000.
Right, you're saying 31,000. Now, boys, do you think it's more than that? What are you thinking?
23.5.
You're thinking 23,500. One of you is actually pretty close. And that person who's very close is John McAnally. So the correct answer was 31,796. However, the best bit about this question, guys, is the fact that that average is 6,359.
That's brilliant.
Is that?
That's absolutely incredible. That
phenomenal.
Teams in the Premier Division don't get even that.
No, they don't. No.
It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Superb. Well, there we go. A victory for Falkirk Daft. William, Fred, thank you so much for being our guest pundits this week. Thanks for coming to the Falkirk Daft live events. We've seen you at a couple of them, so thanks very much, guys.
Well, you only saw me for part of the first one. I got thrown out at the first one.
Did you? Oh, was that what you shouted at you and Cameron?
I was literally out of my heyday.
Oh,
I can't remember what I was doing. I was like, oh.
And that was before the Falkirk Daft Venoms got introduced as well. There you go. Right, brilliant.
The last time I said to Brian, make sure I only drink orange juice when I'm here.
There you go. Good advice for everyone. Right, thank you, William and Fred, for being on Falkirk Daft. If you want to be a guest pundit just like they did, do that by emailing pundit@falkirkdaft.co.uk or slide into our DMs on Twitter or Facebook like a long lost lover.
This is Falkirk Daft.
With Behind the Wall and the Falkirk football fans in training.
So before we talk about Morton, let's say thanks to Behind the Wall. We were in there on Friday night. We had a great night. I was there till closing, Ross, which was great. Having a bit of banter, sat there and had a bit of banter with the bar staff and just thanked them for all the efforts. Like I say, 100 Falkirk Daft Venoms got sold on Friday night. Mental. And they are still available alongside the Falkirk Daft pizza, which is sampled. It's a lovely Korean barbecue chicken pizza. beautiful. It's got the Falkirk Daft logo stamped into it as well. So get that. It's off menu as well, so it's almost like a secret code. If you're a Falkirk Daft listener, you're drinking or eating behind the wall, ask for the Falkirk Daft Venom or ask for the Falkirk Daft pizza, and they'll get it served up for you. Both delicious, I have to say. And remember, behind the wall, you stay local, you eat and drink local. Invincible classes, I'm not too sure. I think the last ones have went out the door now. Hopefully there'll be a restock. I know Brian says the Invincible beer is coming to an end now as well. It was a very good beer. But the good news is, if you didn't get to sample the Invincible beer, Budvar is back at Behind the Wall. We're keeping it naughties. We're going back to 2001, where we were all steaming on Budvar and going to Rosie's. Yes, the Behind the Wall are now doing Budvar again, which is delightful to see. I just remember back in the day, Ross, like drinking bottles of that stuff, because everyone's like, wow, this is the coolest.
Because it started off as bottles in the town. I think Behind the Wall
was on tap.
First place with on tap, weren't they?
Yeah, I know it was all just bottles. It was all just bottles. It wasn't on tap. It wasn't on tap. I mean, Brian will correct me, but I don't think it was on tap. I think it was just purely bottles, and everyone and their granny was just drinking Budvar because like they sponsored Falkirk. The sales of Budvar in the UK must have been centralised in Falkirk. But everyone's just like, but what an amazing sponsor that was, wasn't it? It was brilliant on the top.
It was.
And the trip to Budavici, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Did you go on the Budvar tour when you were over there?
I think so. Yeah, no, we did.
I didn't. I don't think I did. I think I was too hungover after. I ended up getting steaming with Ross Wilson. I mean, Ross obviously went on to bigger things at Rangers and Southampton and everything.
He's in Nottingham Forest now.
He's a big Falkirk supporter, Ross, as well. And me and him end up just me and him one night, and we're just stoating about Budavici looking for a pub to open, and we found.
Was that the night in the strippers? Was it?
Well, no, there wasn't no strip. I couldn't find the strippers in Budavici. Everyone had to go down to Prague for that. But no, it was what a night. But anyway, Budvar is back at Behind the Wall, is what we're saying. It's brilliant. Get yourself a pint of it. And remember, they're doing the buses down to the ground. It's £5 plus. It's literally not £5. It's literally a free bus because you get a pint back at Behind the Wall afterwards as well. And there's still spaces for the Morton and Airdrie games. So get booked in. Speak to Scotty behind the bar. Scotty, thank you so much. On Friday night, served us all the beer and was run off his feet all night with the amount of orders that were going over that bar up in the beer house upstairs, or the pizza pad as it's called now. But I get involved in that. Get in touch with them. You can email them behindthewall.co.uk, or you can give them a call, book yourself into the Morton and Airdrie buses down there. And lots of events happening. We've got on Halloween, get out of the house. Don't have to open your door to geysers. Get up to a whiskey tasting. They're doing a whiskey tasting up at Behind the Wall. What a great excuse to get away from the geysers. Go drink whiskey instead. The band Rest, Stuart from Rest, is a big Falkirk supporter. They're going to be in there Friday the 8th of November. So go and check them out. They're really, really good. Check them out on Spotify as well. We've asked Stuart to come on the podcast. He's not emailed me back yet. So if anyone from Rest or Stuart, you're listening to yourself, would love to have you on the podcast. Especially we can plug the gig as well, but that'd be good. And then on Saturday the 9th of November, it's Movie Okie Brunch. This is one right up Ross's street as well. He loves singing after his rendition of Don't Go Breaking My Heart on Friday at Behind the Wall. Sing and dance to your favourite movie tunes. What a day that is going to be. Saturday the 9th of November, Movie Okie Brunch. Get up to, that's the thing now, day drinking. Have you noticed this? It's all these day clubs. I was speaking to George Bowie, he was saying like, all day clubs, this is what they do. He teaches the food bar during the day. He says it's wild. This is what we need to be getting involved in. Day drinking. That's it. Saturday.
Listen, I'm a big advocate.
I'm a big day up the road for match of the day. You know, get your pints in, get up the road for 9-10 o'clock. Wee pizza, match of the day. Beautiful. So anyway, do that on Saturday, 9th of November at the Movie OK. So there you go. So that's it. Behind the Wall, get involved, and we'll be back there with Falkirk Daft Live 3. Someone suggested we should start putting names like the Fast and the Furious film franchise. It was Richard suggested that to me.
Right.
Or potentially, I just like it. I'm just keeping it wrestling. Going back to wrestling, Ross. WrestleMania, like WrestleMania 1, 2, and 3. And I've got to say, actually, before we move on, talking of wrestling, I came out on stage on Friday wearing a Falkirk 316 t-shirt, which is an ode to Stone Cold Steve Austin, because I walked out to his music and I fucked up the beer smashing thing. I was really worried about catching the beers. Caught the beer successfully, opened up one, fine. Tried to open the other, but it was so dark and my hands were so wet I couldn't open up the other beer and do the beer smashing thing together. So it was an absolute travesty. But the Falkirk 316 t-shirt is now on sale if you want it through Pints and Prints. We'll put the link below. But Falkirk 316, a few people asked me, where did you get that t-shirt? And I suddenly realised the Venn diagram between Falkirk football fans and wrestling fans has significantly grown. Not only have you got myself, not only have you got Sean Elderbrandt and my friend Fraser, who we constantly reference wrestling during the football match, but lots of other people who are Falkirk supporters are also wrestling fans. So I feel a crossover between Falkirk and Wrestling Daft coming on at some point. That's my other podcast that I do with Rab and Grado. Check that out, it's very good. Not done an episode in ages. Anyway, but Falkirk 316 t-shirts are now on sale and the links are below for that if you want one of those. Right, let's talk about Morton then, shall we, Ross? And that is the next game up. I am missing it. And it's going back to the start of the podcast. I am at the egg chasing. I bought tickets for Father's Day for my dad and my son, for us all to go. Nice little generational day out to the rugby and I bought them, and obviously the fixtures weren't out at that point, and I then went, I was like crossing my fingers it was going to be like an away game. No, it's a home game, and it's home to Morton this Saturday at the stadium. Before
listen, these things can't be helped. You've got, as you said, you'd pre-booked it
gutted
fixtures coming out. Obviously, I know I've said it before, I'm not a massive rugby fan. But however, I do like a lot of the stuff that you can do at rugby, which is you can have a pint.
I do like the drinking aspect of rugby.
Yeah, I think they're very sociable.
It's very good.
Yeah, I'm for the first time this season, I'm in hospitality.
Oh, what? It is the Bairns Business Club. It's
the Bairns Business Club. So
there's Brian Flynn from Behind the Wall who invited us into hospitality. But like I say, I'm going to the rugby, so I'm gutted. I'm missing it. It should be a good night out. The Bairns Business Club's always a good night out. It
is. It's always a very good day, and then the celebrations tend to lead into the town at night as well. But
it's been a very swanky wine library you end up in as well. Usually, Ross.
Yeah, we did. But the last couple of times we've ended up in the wine library because I think
very hoi polloi.
I forget. No.
Quaffing wine out of a nice little Cabernet Sauvignon. Little Pinot Grigio.
It's queefing there. But no, I think one of the business club members owns the wine library as well. So I think
one of the Bairns Business Club owners also owns Behind the Wall.
Indeed.
There you go. Get them off this Pinot Grigio, Ross. Get them on Behind the Wall and on the Venoms. That's what you want to be doing.
There's a sight. You can just see all these ties around people's heads because of a couple of Venoms.
I want to see that happen. Anyway, let's talk about Morton. We spoke to George Bowie the last time about them. We've not been able to track down a Morton supporter. Definitely need to get up my Pine Bovril game and track these down, because Morton don't actually have a podcast. They did have one and they had a forum, but we've not been able to get anyone on from that. So if you know a Morton supporter for the next time, we'd love to get that on, because we're struggling for Hamilton and Morton this season. But yeah, let's talk about Morton's season so far. It's been a very kind of mixed bag for them.
Yeah, no, it has. When you look at their run of results, it is literally constantly like loss, win, loss, draw, loss, win, loss, draw. So they are very, very mixed bag. They're not the worst of the worst because, as we know, the 2-5 clubs in Airdrie are currently propping up the table. But I don't know what to expect, because Morton obviously went ahead against us in late August. What I would say is, from what I've seen, I think they are a bit of a hit and miss. Like, they weren't obviously very good yesterday, so does that mean they're going to be better this weekend coming? And as we know, their fans absolutely love a game against Falkirk, so maybe this is a game that they tend to turn up for. I don't know if you noticed, though, they had to get an emergency goalkeeper in. They
saw
signed
that.
A young lad from Rangers on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the situation is. I don't think they had another keeper on the books either. He was the goalkeeper. So it'll be interesting to see if their regular keepers are back from injury, I assume. But yeah, they're a seven day emergency loan go in on Saturday, which I don't think would cover next Saturday unless it's renewed, which I suppose it could be.
I guess they might have to if that's the case. I mean, it was Morton's to be beat. We saw how poor Hamilton were against us. Morton getting scudded 3-0 off them. I mean, Ollie Shaw. I mean, it was all late on. Ollie Shaw getting a hat trick, by the way, in the last kind of 10 minutes of the game. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I see, but that can't be right. Surely they've got a young keeper in goals called. No, that must be a BBC mistake because they've got two Budanaukas. One Budanaukas on the that's a problem. Sorry, I'm looking down it as I do this. It was a mistake from the BBC that I'm seeing. But yeah, they only managed to fill the bench with 5 players on Saturday.
Yeah. So they're obviously and they didn't have a big squad when we played them in August. I remember their bench being very, very thin. I have no real feelings towards Morton as a club, but I know they have a massive hatred towards Falkirk since the Ray McKinnon situation. I just want to win the game because it's another home game. We've got 3 on the bounce, Dunfermline, we've got Morton, and we've got Airdrie. I just want to win these next 2 games before we play Livy. And it's not that I'm kind of building Livy up into a bigger game than the next 2, because John McGlynn would hate me saying this, but you play the next game first, obviously. But I just think these 2 games we've got coming up, and we will have the Airdrie boys on next week, I'm sure, to preview that one. But this Morton game is a weird one. I just don't know what Morton will turn up. Is it the really shit one that just seems to get a tank in every now and again, or is it the one that'll give you a right proper game? So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it's certainly like the last time, like Dunfermline and like Livingston, from set pieces, that's where all the problem came from in the last game against them. So I think that'll be getting drilled very much from John McGlynn, because we saw we lost a goal to a set piece. We've not been great, the goals we have been losing generally have been to set pieces.
Yeah.
I mean, you go back to some of the goals, Dom Thomas at the start of the season was about the best goal we've conceded, but there's been a lot of goals lost to set pieces. So I'm sure John will be drilling the boys, and the thing is, they can get got at Morton. When you look at the fact that Kurt Broadfoot's still playing centre half for them is just mental. You know what I mean? So they can get good. They can get got at as good a professional as Kurt Broadfoot is. You think, God, Niall McGinn. I mean, God again. He's he came off the bench and he's been brought in as well. So they really are struggling for bodies. It looks like Morton.
Yeah.
So you would hope at home with our record there. When was the last time we tasted home defeat? It would have been Edinburgh City.
It was April, 2023. So it's a long time ago. We know we're very realistic, John. And we talk about we will lose at some point, right? Yeah. I would hate it to be against Morton because I for all the reasons you've just said, I don't think they're a very good football team.
Again, Airdrie as well. You take it's either one of these 2 teams that are coming up. Yeah. But I can't see anything. But I was actually worried. See, when they signed J. Emmanuel Thomas, we all know the story there. Because he got high, he's now just about to go to the jail. But he's I was worried when he signed him because I thought he actually looked all right when he played against us and what have you.
He was a big lad. He was a big lad.
There's not really anyone in that Morton player team that really I'm worried terribly a lot about.
But the player who has always interested me whenever he's come up against us, and I don't just mean for Morton, but the fullback Cammy Ballantyne, he's done well previously against us. And he usually.
But again, he didn't play at the weekend, so you wonder if maybe injured or suspended. So we'll see how it goes. Like you say, it could be you don't know what Morton's going to turn up. You really won't know what Morton's going to turn up, and if it is that roller coaster season that they're having or seem to be having, it'll be interesting to see what kind of result will be.
John, speaking of suspensions, I was checking this earlier. Talking. So, according to the SPFL and Scottish FA handbook, The accumulation of 6 cautionable offences in the same competition will lead to a 1-match dated suspension, effective from 14 days following the date of the match when the 6th cautionable offence occurred. Now, having checked, Dylan is on 5 bookings in the league so far. Brad's on 4, Liam's on 3, and Saki is on 3 as well. Any others are only on 1.
Right.
Sorry, Ross and Alfie are on 2. But Dylan is on 5. So what we wouldn't want to happen is for him to get a booking on Saturday.
Because then he'll miss the Livingston game. That's true. I wonder if that'll play into John McGunn's head.
I'm not sure he would keep him out for it. I think he might have a word with Dylan. But then
he do anything stupid, son.
Don't do anything daft that you would. And I don't think he did anything daft at the weekend. We've talked about it enough. He's not dived there. Dived there. But yeah, he would miss Livingston should he get a booking on.
Right. I do wonder if that'll come into John's thinking, because we know that Finn can go in there, and we saw against Celtic the job that Finn can do in that midfield. But you know, Dylan, when you take Dylan out the side, you lose a big part. So
I don't think we would risk.
I don't think John McGuinn thinks like that. In fairness,
I think he'll be looking at Morton and he'll be looking for the best team to play against.
Yeah,
Morton.
Of course
he won't be thinking 3 weeks down the line. But
of course he will. I think the decision to be made is whether Ross comes back in for Gary, because John did highlight that we play in a different way when Gary's in the team as opposed to when Ross is in the team.
I think that potentially could be the only change.
Yeah, I think so. What's the score going to be, Ross?
I know I was a bit flippant last week about a big win against Dunfermline, but I'm going to be a wee bit more cautious this weekend. I think I would love a cheeky wee 2-0 win at home.
2-0 win, and I think I'm going to reflect that. Even though I'll be at the egg chasing, I will be by my phone trying to look for a stream while on the train through to Murrayfield, and I'll go for a 2-0 as well. I think that'd be a delightful result, and 3 points up the road, top of the league still, and then we go on to Airdrie, and then it's a big game against Livingston, so we'll wait and see how that goes. But yeah, us see how we do come Saturday.
This is Falkirk Daft.
With Behind the Wall, we're navy blue, are you?
That, my friends, is it for Falkirk Daft. Thank you very much for watching, for listening. It's been quite a long one today. I've just looked at the time there, like, geez.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a long one.
It has been a bit of a long one. Thanks very much, obviously, to our guest pundits that came on, William and Fred, very kindly. John Don, you could be on next week's show, or Ross handles the bookings for that. Ross is the booker.
Yeah, we're up to January now, actually.
Oh, look at you! Very organised. He does. Before I go, I did forget to mention this at the start of the podcast, that Ross didn't make the pub on Saturday pre-Dunfermline. Now tell the listeners and the viewers why you didn't make the pub on Saturday, Ross, before the game.
So I was hoping you weren't going to mention this. So we've obviously, as everyone now knows, I've got an
your companion dog.
My companion dog, yeah. And we were getting him measured for a suit.
You were getting, so just to rewind, and I just want to plug this business. Ross missed the pub on Saturday because he was taking his dog to a dog tailor's to get measured for a suit.
So yes, long story short.
Where do you find a dog tailor's in the Falkirk area?
No. So it's an individual who.
Yeah, well, this is a business. Let's plug it.
To be fair, I don't know the name of the business, John, if I'm being honest. So
come on, Ross, there must be a...
no, I don't...
Wag Tailors! That's what you call it, isn't it? Wag Tailors, Ross.
It is a good one, but no, I don't know the name. However, I'll show the picture. She's got a very good suit on for the dog.
Why would you buy a dog a suit?
To keep him warm.
But they've got fur for that, Ross. The dogs survive in the wild. This is where the dogs come from, and you've went out and you bought a suit for a dog.
Yeah, he's not going to wear it all the time, just if it's cold or.
Are you going to buy other clothing for the dog?
No, just this one suit. That's.
So what's it? So it's. I've got so many questions about a dog tailor and the fact you've went to one to have a dog suit made for them.
Yeah, well, listen, it's going to keep his wee body warm in the winter.
Anyway, there we go. There we go. Ross gets dog clothes made for him. My God, you can't hide money, eh? Right, anyway.
Hey, listen, she was very reasonable.
Right, that's it. I just need to bring that up before we go. Thank you for listening, watching Falkirk Daft. Get us on our socials. Keep up to date. Subscribe on our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Buy merch. Ross, you've let us down with the minutes. You're meant to send out merch.
So, it's Sunday night. I am going to put out a merch tweet tonight. Which
right, you've heard it here.
No, you've heard
Listen,
it.
if I come back next week and you've not done that.
No, I'm going to do it tonight.
Minute it.
I'm going to do the hour and I'm going to put out the link to your new t-shirt as well.
Right. Well done. Minute it.
Yes.
Get that in the minutes. Right. Right. So thank you. And by the way, I forgot to do the honour. The guard of honour for everyone that messaged Roman Wallner last week.
Indeed. We have forgotten. However, we've got a name this week, haven't we? It's my choice this week.
You can go for the random. So if you get to this point in the podcast, you've like sat through all our shite up to this point.
Yeah.
You've got to tweet us with this random Falkirk football player's name. Go for it, Ross.
So the name is Patrice Tano.
Patrice Tano! Yeah. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Patrice Tano. Now, how many games did Patrice Tano play for Falkirk?
I think that's worth a check, isn't it? Let's have a look.
Patrice Tano, what a player!
I go on to the very, very good Better Medal, which we've talked about before. So let's have a quick look. So, he's all the way down at T, so I need to scroll my wee fingers there. Here we go. So Tano... It must be the only Tano that's ever played with Falkirk.
I got it on Wikipedia, 6 games.
Is that all?
Finished his career, well, according to this, youth career Monaco, then Southampton, then he went to Mechelen, Telstar, Colchester United, and played 6 games for Falkirk. And I have to say, for a quiz question going forward, probably only player that's ever played for the Ivory Coast that is played for Falkirk.
There you go. You're right, 6, so 4 starts and 2 sub appearances according to Better.
Patrice Tano, what a blast from the past. So that's the name to tweet this week, so thank you very much for that, and well done for reaching the end of the podcast. We congratulate you. Get in touch with us if you want to be an episode sponsor. Thanks to the Falkirk District Tartan Army sponsored this week's show. Thanks very much to the guys and Neil over there. If you want to be a sponsor just an episode, we are very reasonable. Ross needs to keep his dog in clothes, so please do sponsor Fakirk Daft in the future. If you've got a business around the Falkirk area, we'd love to have you on board. So please get in touch. John at falkirkdaft.co.uk or Ross at falkirkdaft.co.uk. There we go, more mention of dog clothing. Right, I'll get up the road now, shall I, Ross?
I think we should. I think we should. Alright, okay. Finish us off. Take it to the bridge, honey. Expect unexpected, buddy. Come on, the Bairns.
We're Falkirk Daft. We're Falkirk Daft. Talking about the dark blues and having a bit of a laugh. We're Falkirk Daft. We're Falkirk Daft. You can listen in the pub or you can listen in the bath. We're Falkirk Daft. We're Falkirk Daft. For everyone who's caring about being a Falkirk Bear, we're Falkirk Daft.